Welcome to the Quest of the West. I'm Eric West. I got my buddy right here, Eric Bennett, going to come out and do some talking about hunting this year, 2022 and 2023, and talk about some maple syrup that we got boiling going on today. And we're just discuss the do's and don'ts of this last hunting season, go over some good things that we've done, bad things we did, some things we can improve on, and look forward to the upcoming season. Like I said, my buddy Eric Bennett came all the way up from Florida just for this.
2-day drive, St. Pete, lots to kill down there, so I figured I'd come up here.
Come up here in the spring season, early spring season. So we'll get into it. I guess one of the main things, you're talking about Florida being down there. What's some of the things you do down there, hunting-wise and fishing?
So actually, I haven't even got into it yet, but I'm interested in trying to get into some saltwater fishing. It seems like the ocean's kind of intimidating. I compare it to the mountains, like if you're a big game hunter out there. But yeah, I'd like to get a boat. I'd like to go do some saltwater fishing. I've looked into hog hunting, and easier said than done, I guess, unless you want to go to a farm. But
yeah, we discussed that.
I don't mind doing that. At least one time, kind of learn what the environment's like the landscape. But probably should do that at least once.
And we were talking before about making a drive down there. Him and I go do a gator hunt and a hog hunt. But everyone we've talked to so far, it's basically we tell them where we're from. We're actually hunters. They say this is not what you want to do.
I don't know. I don't know if alligator would taste very good, right?
I've had it before.
Yeah, but in a sausage.
I mean, I didn't eat a gator steak or anything.
I don't know. It
was in a soup.
I mean, if it's anything like goose, it's probably going to taste like swamp water, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. Goose are delicious.
Depends on how you cook it, right?
Yeah. The discussions we've had with a lot of the outfitters, everything is pretty much fenced in. They drag the gator out into a pond.
Yeah.
Let you shoot it. And the hogs are fenced in, and they said that, hey, you can just come out. We'll put you in a tree stand. We can pretend that you're out in the woods, but I ran across a couple of those outfitters that straight up told me this is not what you want to. This is not what you want to do.
Yeah, it was interesting. The one that I called, they really didn't want any production associated with it. They kind of wanted to stay behind the scenes. I can't remember the name of the company. I won't call it out, but it wasn't a guaranteed hunt or a guaranteed hog. So you're basically paying for like 4 hours to walk around the property and potentially find something.
Slap the pig in the ass and
which
shoot
is
it.
Basically suburbia of whatever city he was in. I think Dade County or something. I can't remember. But like I said, at least maybe do it one time, right?
Yeah, we did it up here in Michigan, somewhere over the thumb. Like I said, I won't say the names. And we went up to it, actually. My cousin slapped the pig right in the ass.
Really?
He goes, this is the one I want to shoot 20 foot back and let an arrow fly right at it.
Did it look like a wild hog, or did it look like a domesticated hog?
No, they had tusk and everything.
Really?
Yeah, hair, but, I mean, still it's in the fence.
Have you heard that theory? It's like you release a domesticated pig, in 3 months it's going to start growing tusks, different hair, it's going to start turning into a wild pig.
I heard it was like 3 days.
I don't know.
Maybe we should probably Google that one.
I don't know.
Hand out false information.
I mean, you said you wanted to raise pigs one day, so just don't let them loose.
Thought about letting a few. Just joking, DNR. I'm not gonna let any. So yeah, it's a couple of things we're looking forward to maybe this year into the next. Trying to find a good outfitter to do that. Maybe branching out to other states, Louisiana, Texas. It's huge.
Yeah.
I always would love to get in one of those helicopters and just mow some down.
I know, isn't that wild? Like a 50 cal attached to a helicopter, just shooting a bunch of them. Doesn't feel legal, but
Hey, you can help the farmers out.
You can pay for anything, I guess.
Yeah. Like you said, I'll do it once.
Absolutely.
It's probably pretty expensive for the helicopter fuel.
Yeah, I've also seen where they, what is it? They shoot tannerite. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they blow them all up, explode.
Just cooked bacon right after you.
It's a way to go.
Yeah.
Hunting this year, it was fun. This is the first time in my life that I've actually tagged out in one day. Got 2 bucks this year.
Okay.
In one day, archery season. So made me learn a little bit from my cousin. He always harps on me about waiting for the bigger buck. Don't don't take the smaller ones. Well, I didn't listen to them and just kicked myself in the ass because even though I tagged out, I still went out and sat every single day,
Really?
watched it, and here comes my shooter. Comes walking in, 200 yards, rifle season. But
Have you seen him since? Is he still alive?
I haven't seen him.
Hmm.
I had him on camera the last 2 years. 2 years ago, I think he was just a 2.5-year-old. I had him 30 yards away.
Gotcha.
Bow season. He was maybe 110, 115. Then the following year, I had him again on camera, and he just, oh my God, exploded. But from that 3.5-year-old to 4.5-year-old, he probably put on 20 inches.
That's insane.
Yeah, it was nice. So I guess that's my big takeaway from deer hunting this year is just waiting for that bigger buck.
I actually didn't get to hunt this year. The company I worked for had a freeze on PTO, so I stood back and listened to everyone's stories. You know?
From deer hunting,
Yeah. Yep.
it was sick time.
Yeah, I could have called in sick for one day and flown from Florida, right? But it's been interesting. The years I've been coming back, because I live in Colorado for many years. There are whitetail out there, but it's a little bit different game to try to get a whitetail tag. It's typically by the Nebraska border, so I'd always come back to Michigan. Typically hunt up by, the bridge, Charlevoix area. And I never chased antlers. It was more of like the first deer that would come in, whether it was a buck or a doe that was legal, I would shoot it because I was chasing the meat. I had usually a long weekend to take something. So
Brown it's down.
yeah, often it was a doe, but it was awesome bringing the tenderloins back to Colorado. Not
Yeah.
a lot of people, not a lot of hunters, I should say, had the opportunity to eat whitetail, especially from northern Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of muleys out there, as you know, and then elk is kind of the prime venison.
So you're talking about you go elk hunting in Colorado quite a bit with a couple buddies.
Almost every year, yeah.
Now, being in Colorado, that was when you were a resident then.
Yep. I mean, I went 2 years ago when I wasn't a resident, I think. Yeah.
So what's the hardest part about drawing a tag for non-residency?
So the game that I've been playing is I just been collecting preference points. Not every year I've been disciplined getting them in. Colorado's changed kind of the preference point, like I don't want to say law or bylaw a couple years in a row. So it's a little bit different game, but it's about $100 to put in for a preference point. I only have about 5. I'm shooting for 6. That's when I'm going to cash them in as a non-resident. If I was a resident, I could have already cashed them into a successful unit. I want to say about a 20% success rate. But the guys I go with, especially my buddy Brian, he knows.
Shout out to Brian.
Shout out to Brian. He's a Google Earther, so he knows, him and his father, they really study those canyons. So that's kind of the tactic. But as a non-resident, I would say my tactic is collecting points until I can get into a unit that has the highest success rate.
Okay.
And I'm shooting for muzzleloader. And then if I was a resident, it's a leftover game. So you just buy an over-the-counter tag, or you don't even buy a tag until you look for these leftover tags to come up. So often people will cash in their points, will get a trophy unit tag, and then they'll decide, oh, life came up, I can't hunt. They'll come available within the week of the season. You go grab them, then you make a move. So, if I have this correctly, what he does is he will kind of map out a couple units in the summer, put some game cameras up, and just kind of have a couple different plans. But he's very successful. I would say like almost every year he's taken down a bull
Okay.
since I've known him. So
What about you?
nope. So the closest I came was an over-the-counter unit for archery, pulled back on a cow elk. I like elk hunting, but I don't love elk hunting. And the reason I say that is because it's a lot of work. The first couple years I was bow hunting, it was you pack everything in your bag, you got all your food, you got your rations, you got your clothes for a week. And
Right.
you're backpacking in 8 miles. Okay, you're pumping your own water.
That's when he called me and he sent
Yeah.
me a GPS. He said, "Hey, just want to let you know if I don't come out
Exactly.
and I was going to come find you,
Yep. This is where I'm at, or at least this is where I think I'm at.
I'll fly
Latitude.
from Michigan to Colorado to come find a dead body. No
Well,
problem."
What I enjoy about it is like you don't want to elk hunt alone. And again, this is my
No.
opinion. So guys do it, but I like going out there because I got a buddy that lives in Idaho. I'm real close with his cousin Brian, who lives in Colorado, and we try to meet up together there. That's our central point to keep our friendship strong. But it's good camaraderie. Those guys are the ones that usually have the tag. I'm flying out there just to carry a backpack in case we knock down a bull.
Right on.
Yeah, again because I've been saving my points per se.
So in Colorado, bear, grizzlies,
No
Cougars?
grizzlies.
nothing.
There's cougars. I believe a couple years ago they released some wolves. I just don't know where, or maybe it was on the docket to release him.
Was Colorado that? You remember that story about the guy that was jogging in the wilderness and a cougar attacked him and he
Choked
put
it
it in a
out.
headlock and killed this 75-pound cougar?
Yep, it was a juvenile cougar, but he choked it out. Imagine how fucking good you would feel choking out a cougar and surviving from that.
I do that.
There's
almost
nothing you couldn't
every
take
weekend.
on. Yeah, okay, all right. Is that what you call it? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that was in Colorado. I don't know if he was hiking or if he was biking or what, but that's the reason I carry a sidearm, and it's not so much because of the black bears. They're very skittish out there.
Right.
From my understanding, there are a ton of black bears out there, but it's really the cougars, and what they say are the mountain lions. You're never going to hear them coming anyways. So it's like, you just kind of, the first couple years doing it, you're kind of on pins and needles to a degree.
How badass would it be if that was your story?
I mean, like I said, there's nothing in this world I couldn't take on if I choked out a cougar.
God, I'd bring it up every single day.
Exactly.
Hey, remember that one time I killed that cougar with my bare hands?
Exactly. Oh, that's a nice necklace you got. Are those teeth? Yeah, I pulled those out myself.
Right. Going out to Colorado, a lot of shed hunting or anything like that. Find it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When I call it shed hunting, it's more like hiking, and maybe you'll come across something, right? It wasn't super serious because you have to be in extreme athletic condition to climb over those mountains in Colorado.
You find anything
I never found anything.
as cool as this?
Nothing that huge. Absolutely not.
Today, my dad was out cutting wood on the property and came across this in one of the clover plots. I've probably driven past this thing probably 100 times in the last 2 weeks. I've never seen it.
Gotcha.
He goes out there, 10 minutes, comes back. Look
Nice.
what I found.
Yeah, I'd say the only time I've come across a shed is when I was actually duck hunting. This was near the Nebraska border, which I got a good story I can tell you about that. And looked like someone maybe shot a whitetail during bow season, couldn't find it.
Mhm.
The deer was kind of piled up, pretty much rotted, and all the different varmints got to it or whatever. But yeah, we cut the antlers off of that. It was a pretty nice buck too.
Now, do you have to apply for licensing for shed hunting out there? I thought in some states you did. There's a season for it, and you have to actually get a tag.
I want to say you do. That's
Okay.
how often I've done it. Is I've never really done it officially.
Right
So, but yeah, I believe there's a shed season. I know. I'm trying to think of the crew, that hunting crew, who's big into it. Who's the crew that has like the antler on their hat? What's their name? Do you remember?
Like Buck
the
Commander?
YouTube, the guys. I
No.
can't think of it. Anyways, but I know they're big into it.
We don't care about them.
Yeah.
This is our YouTube.
Nah, they're cool. They're cool guys. Shout out. You know what I'm saying?
So the rest of this year, we only got, it's, March 10th today?
Yeah.
So we only got about 21 more days of this hunting season. We have a lot more upcoming seasons. That's one of my flaws is that I'm too busy looking forward to the next one and not partaking fully into the one that we're currently in.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for the next one. And, right now, like I said, we love to boil maple sap, maple syrup, and it's fun. Something I get to do with my father. I've done it for the last 5 years. Kind of got good at it, but this year we kind of scaled it down a little bit because of the season's been so crazy this year in Michigan.
So, maple syrup or maple, what do they call it? Sap.
Maple sap, yep.
There's a season for harvesting that?
So yeah, typically you want to start tapping. They always try to shoot for about February 16th, Valentine's Day,
Okay.
depending on the season. But once the flow really starts coming in is when the high of the day is above freezing
Okay.
and the low goes down
Okay.
below freezing.
Okay.
And that's when that pressure in those trees start producing the sap out.
But do they carry sap year round in them, or is it?
Yeah, so you ever notice if you cut a tree, like a maple tree?
I can
and all
honestly
that
say I've
sap-
never really. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they carry in them, but the pressure's not there to
Okay.
shoot it out.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's nice. We got buckets out there. We collect every other day. It's just fun. We sit around here, and really, it's just a kind of a drinking sport.
Yeah.
So,
No, a lot of things are.
Speaking of drinking sport, today's coffee is brought to you by Busch Light from
A bush
the
latte.
15 I had last night.
Well, I was talking to your wife. She said that you can even make like sugar.
Yeah,
You boil the syrup down into sugar. So I never even thought of that, but I had some in my coffee and it was pretty good, and you could actually taste it.
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like light by any means. It was super sweet.
So we start boiling it down to maple syrup, and we don't pay attention, it boils down even more, so it's ruined. So you just keep boiling it, and you just make it into a granular sugar
You guys do anything else, like make candles or random stuff like that?
with the maple sugar.
I mean, I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
We want to get into candy,
Okay.
but I don't really want to.
Like the rock candy? Is that what you would
Yeah,
make?
maple candy.
All right.
I don't know. I'm not a big maple candy guy. The sugar's good. We put it in coffee and we put it on
Yeah.
our pancakes.
Nah, I dig it.
Yeah, the 3 girls, they love it all the time.
Yeah.
They eat it
What kid
constantly.
doesn't like sugar, right?
That's true.
Yeah. But no, I'm a big pancake fan. I love maple syrup on my
Huge
pancake. Yeah.
The only thing is, I was a huge Aunt Jemima fan.
Yeah, that's not even real, right?
The corn syrup stuff,
Okay.
yeah. It was delicious. Started doing this.
Hmm.
This, by far, just blows it out of the way.
Yeah.
All the water.
Oh, yeah.
The only problem I'd say is that when you start drizzling on your pancakes, it's just gone.
Sometimes your mouth waters and it gets mixed up. I gotcha.
No, it's like
Yeah.
in the pancakes. It gets absorbed.
So is the
quickly.
maple syrup like super syrupy, like thick, like the artificial stuff, or is it actually real runny? Is that how you know it's real?
It's not as
Yeah.
thick as corn syrup,
Okay.
but I mean, there's measurements you gotta take, like the bricks measurement, the sugar content. I know in Canada it's super popular, and
So-
it's actually a government regulated.
So there's a
everything.
black market then.
There
for
is a
maple
black.
syrup.
One of the
Okay.
biggest black market heists ever in Canada, I believe, is someone stole millions of dollars worth of maple sugar, maple syrup.
Huh. Alright.
So, at the end of this year, we're still moving into we're trapping season. Tomorrow, we're planning on a big rabbit hunt.
Yeah.
A bunch of buddies coming out. We're just gonna jump shoot some rabbits. He's got some dogs. I take the blue tick out. She does a good job. She did a great job today. I let her out, and she took off in the woods.
Yep.
And I just seen rabbits running all over the place. So tomorrow we'll do that. So we still got rabbit season. Still got a lot of small game season. Trapping. I got a couple of coyotes and silver fox on camera that I really wanna go capture.
A silver fox, huh?
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
I'll send you some pictures.
I've seen black foxes, I believe.
Silver
Oh,
fox
I mean,
is like one of
sometimes.
the only couple dogs that can actually climb trees.
Oh, interesting. It's got thumbs.
I don't know if it's got thumbs,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's got the ability to climb trees.
Gotcha.
I don't
Okay.
know how it does it, but it can do it.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. So we'll go out. We'll catch that. Yesterday, we were stacking some wood over here, and if you look behind me, there's a couple traps that are set up. We had a weasel that came down, was staring at us. So I lost a bunch of chickens a few years back from a mink. So my dad thought it was a mink, but it was actually a weasel.
You think it was that guy?
No, it was just a
Okay.
weasel. That mink was a lot bigger. This weasel was, probably yay big, white chest.
Not
An
big enough for
ermine.
a scarf. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
An ermine, weasel, and there's so many
Yeah.
names for all different kinds of species of those minks.
I was duck hunting a couple years ago in Colorado, and I had never seen so many minks in my life. So I'm like, why am I sitting around and why are there a bunch of minks? Then I found out that this was like kind of a central point for a duck hatchery.
Okay.
So they would lay their eggs there. The geese would lay their eggs there. And I guess that's like one of the number one, like, I would say like varmints for geese or for ducks. They kill off because they eat a bunch of the eggs. They just
Predators?
destroy the eggs, yeah.
Well, we had a problem in here with sparrows living up in the lean-to, and then yesterday my dad said he saw the weasel, and I goes, man, come to think of it, I haven't seen a bird in here in like 2
Oh.
weeks.
Interesting.
So that weasel was eating good
Yeah.
on sparrows.
Weasel fur the same as mink fur, or is mink much nicer than weasel fur?
I believe mink is a lot.
Because mink
'Cause
jackets,
they're
right?
a lot bigger.
Yeah. Okay.
Weasels, they're like 8-9 inches long,
Huh.
kind of tiny.
I say we figure out how to like make a coat.
With a mink,
Yeah. 2X.
that's a lot of minks.
Okay. Well, how many do you think? Matching
2X?
gloves. Matching gloves.
I don't know, 100.
Wow. Okay. Maybe not a lot of ROI in a mink, right?
No.
Okay.
Be a lot of bait and trap. But we can try anything once, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
So you have any plans for turkey season coming up?
Yeah. So where I'm at, up in northern Michigan, there's a lot of turkeys around there. So I'm transitioning as a resident from Florida to Michigan. I grew up here in Michigan, but I'm still trying to figure out like the turkey laws. So it's like I'd call the DNR because I was like, hey, I'd like to do a small game hunt this weekend. You know, do I need to have 6 months of residency before I can get the discounted license or the resident license?
Mm-hmm.
And this is, you know, an interesting fact for those who are transitioning to Michigan is you don't. Okay, there is no waiting period whatsoever. Whereas in Colorado, it's 6 months before you can apply for a resident tag. So it's like we're talking huge savings out in Colorado. Up here or in Michigan, not so much of a savings, but I'd say about a 50% savings.
Right.
But yeah, so cool fact about that for those who are wondering. So lots of turkeys on the property. So I like to shoot turkeys with a bow personally.
Right.
So I wouldn't say more of a challenge because I'm a sharpshooter with a bow, but a couple years ago I took one at about 40 yards with my Ready to Hunt Bear package. I might have left.
Ready to Hunt Bear package?
Exactly.
What?
I don't even know. It's green.
It's a green one?
I don't even know which line it is.
The green bow. Yeah,
Yeah.
my favorite kind of bow is the green one.
I got it off Camo Hunt, I believe. Is that the discount website?
Camo Hunt?
Fire.
Camel Fire?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So
No, I don't know.
you don't know about Camel Fire?
No.
Shout out to Camel Fire. I don't know if they're still around, but it's basically like an auction
Is it a
website.
90s thing?
No, it's an auction website where they have like one product, and it's like we have 2,000 of these. It's like a blackout price. You know what I'm saying? And they sell them till they're gone.
Okay.
Heavily discounted products.
So it's just broken shit, or is
No, I mean it works. I mean
it? Yeah, you said it works.
it dispatches animals, right? So, But they also have like products on there, like you'll find like a Swarovski, spotting scope. Like who wants to pay $4,000 for that, right?
Right.
So it's like, yeah, it's 50% off, but still, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're sharpshooting turkeys with your Bear Ready to Hunt package.
Yeah, I might have left my elk expandable broadhead in the tip,
Okay.
like allegedly, right? So, but yeah, you'd be surprised how much damage an expandable broadhead does
To a turkey.
to a turkey.
Where'd you hit it at?
Right in the chest, dude.
Blew it out, eh?
It just went right into the ground. It was just like barbecued.
Have you ever seen those videos where guys are shooting their heads off turkeys with their arrows?
No, but I know they make a special broadhead for that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Huh.
I just get into those videos sometimes and just thinking, man, I just want to just decapitate a turkey.
I mean, you lose an arrow every time you shoot it, right?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, yeah. So I'd probably miss a bunch if I was aiming for the head.
You could. You said you were a sharpshooter, though.
Yeah, but as you can tell by the brand that I hunt with, I'm also a budget hunter as well.
What did Fred Bear use?
Recurve.
Okay.
But probably top of the line recurve.
For 1970s and 80s?
That's true. That's true. I could always throw a hatchet at it as well. About just as much luck.
Just practice on calling and getting closer.
See, I don't even call. They just happen to cross over when I'm deer hunting, right? So.
Oh, so this is deer hunting, then turkey comes across.
Yeah, it's opportunistic hunting.
Okay. So like when a coyote comes out, now you're coyote hunting.
I've always wanted that to happen, but it's never happened. It's happened to you?
Yeah, I've had coyotes come out. Nothing that I was able to take a crack at.
I feel like it'd be fast, right?
Oh yeah, they come in. This was a couple times right in the back out here, sitting there and deer hunting. It's dark out.
Yeah.
You're already scared because you're sitting out there all
Is
by
that
yourself.
someone's lab?
Yeah.
No? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know. Did my wife let the dogs out and now they're running around chasing me?
Exactly.
Yeah, and the coyote comes running around. You see it. You can tell that it's a coyote. But
See, my problem is I'm never ready, okay? When that coyote would come in, because I'm sitting down,
sleeping,
just
playing on your
doing
phone,
one of these.
playing Deer Hunter on
saying?
your phone.
Yeah, nothing with noises. So,
Yeah, everybody asks, how'd you do today? I shot a record buck today.
Exactly.
From what? On my phone.
Exactly.
Yeah, being ready. I think that's one thing that I've learned this year, especially with when I was younger. We didn't have cell phones. You had to sit out in the woods and you're sitting there watching, right?
Yeah.
The entire time, or you're sleeping. You fall asleep.
Yeah.
When they came out with these cell phones, you're sitting there playing, watching the Tic Tacs, watching YouTubes, watching whatever. And
That's
all
got to
this stuff.
help, right?
No, I think it's the worst thing.
I mean, I get that.
Our
but
close friend Mitch, he does the same thing. Goes, I watch my phone, play on the phone, look up, and then there's a deer.
Yeah.
Well, I tell him, I've seen, I don't know how many bucks this year or last year, and they're there for 10 seconds. They cross, and they're gone.
Yeah.
If I was sitting there watching stuff, I would never even see it.
Coincidentally, where I hunt, there's no cell phone service, so I can't Tic Tac it up.
Okay.
But I always had a theory growing up, is if I fall asleep, I'm gonna wake up and there's gonna be deer. right? You have the same
Yeah, or if I go pee,
superstition or theory, whatever they call it. Yeah.
when you're
Or if
peeing
you
out in the
pee,
stand,
yeah.
you look up and
Yeah.
there's your buck looking at you.
But it
20
happened.
yards.
I swear to God, you doze off and.
Because that's when you're only time you're quiet.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're moving around, kicking your stand.
I talk in my sleep, so I don't know. Like I always try to avoid to sleep.
What's one of the biggest things you think you do out in the stand that you probably shouldn't be doing?
Like bad behavior.
Yeah.
Oh man, I seem to never like prepare my setup to where it's comfortable. Like I
Okay.
always feel like I'm rushed, so I'm always fidgeting around, or I'm always getting a cramp. You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking the time to make sure everything is kind of like perfect and comfortable.
So just you don't have your bow ready there, just
You know,
ready
I'll
to
buy the
shoot.
accessories to hang the bow, but I'm always setting my bow on my lap or something like that. When they make items that you could, help with that, right?
Right.
Or it's like you buy a budget tree stand, you throw it up, it's got the toe straps connecting it to the tree. You're like, man, I should have splurged for the extra $80 for the footrest, and
Right.
now your knees are always cracking, making noise every time.
Do you sit there and like peel the bark off the tree and stuff and break it and throw it?
No, but sometimes I'll grab a Pop-Tart and I'll
Okay.
forget to take it out of the package before I go out into the stand.
Right.
Pop-Tarts are noisy as shit when you're trying to take them out of the package when you're hunting.
Well, so are Swiss rolls.
Yeah, I believe it.
You ever seen those memes, funny memes where they're talking about deer hunting and I shoot for the meat because it's
Yeah.
it's not processed and it's
It's truly organic.
yeah. And
Yeah.
the guys are sitting there and they're eating Swiss zebra cake rolls and drinking their Mountain Dews out in the stands.
What kind of treat is a zebra cake grow on?
Zebra cake roll? You never had a zebra cake roll?
Not a roll, a combination?
No, dude. There's zebra cakes, but they're like in Swiss roll forms.
Nah. You got kids though, right?
Yeah.
See, I don't even keep cereal.
They're
in my
they're
house.
amazing, aren't they?
Yeah. Okay.
No, my kids never. We don't.
You don't let them have them because you eat them all, right?
I would.
Okay.
Well, there's the pantry for some treats.
Oh, you got a stash spot?
My stash spots are in the freezer.
I thought you were gonna say in the nightstand next to the bed.
No, you never had like a zebra cake or a Swiss roll in the freezer.
Nah, man. I haven't lived. I mean, I've been all over the world, but I have not
And-
had that.
Okay, a buddy of my dad, we're up north, golf outing, and he's got Swiss rolls up there. And my buddy Bill, he's eating a Swiss roll, and I was
Okay.
like, all right. He's like, I'm not a big fan of them, whatever. He eats them. I was, all right, now check this out. I'm grabbing one from the freezer. And I'm gonna give you one. He went, this changed my life.
I'm 35 and I got sensitive teeth. To me, that sounds horrible.
They're not frozen. They're just
Okay.
like a cold cake. I don't know, like an ice cream cake. Dude, you never had a Swiss roll from the freezer or any kind of
No, I'm
like
thinking
a
about
Nutter butter?
I'm thinking about late antlerless season, right? And how I can make that snack work, right? Because it's cold enough. As long as I put it in the outside pocket, it's gonna stay frozen, right?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I'll try it this year.
But just even at home, just go buy a package of Swiss rolls, throw them right in the freezer.
As
I
much as
swear-
I want to do that, I'm not going to. All right, bikini season's coming up. All right, I got to figure that out.
So upcoming season, I
Yeah.
seen today Omer up north. You know Omer, where the Rifle River is at, smallest town in Michigan.
I'm just moving back. I've been out of Michigan for years, man. You know this.
Suckerfest is a huge thing.
Suckerfest, is that like fish?
Yeah,
Okay.
sucker fishing. They
Okay.
come through. We couple of us guys will go up and we just start hammering all these suckers.
Okay. And you
Nonstop.
eat them?
No,
I
no,
didn't
they're
think so.
disgusting.
Yeah.
They're
it's
gross.
kinda like
But
Asian
people,
carp.
people do. They smoke them. They eat them. Keep them in bins. A lot of times we'll use them for just our gardens and such.
Are these the same people that eat raccoons and have no teeth?
Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I've never eaten a raccoon. Have you tried raccoon before?
No.
I wouldn't either.
I might have said this earlier, but I don't trust anything with thumbs. So,
Just thumbs.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So the sucker fishing, it's a riot.
Okay.
They just posted, I think it was just yesterday, on the old Facebook that they're gonna have a tournament this year up there.
Okay.
So another buddy of mine, he's big into walleye fishing, and he's out there right now. And
So you're just
on the
fishing
river.
off the bottom.
So it's a river that just
Okay.
comes right through
Okay.
the Rifle River, and
Okay.
you just sit there and you just cast out and you fish. You just catch all these suckers, and
Nice.
you just get a big old box full of them, put them in, and
Weigh them up.
yeah,
What's the prize?
I think it's $1,000.
$1,000 and a trophy that says #1 sucker. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
I hope so.
Me too.
We
I'm
had
down. I'm down to do it.
We took this is another funny story about sucker fishing. Years back, my dad was with me and a couple of our friends, and we went up there after a night of drinking. I think moonshine. Actually, we got into Everclear. Got into Everclear, and so we went out sucker fishing the next day. And my buddy, he casted. So along the banks, there's these big
Okay.
wooden boxes that people
Okay.
store the suckers in.
Okay.
So he casts his first cast, goes and drops him right in this guy's
Guaranteed
wo-
fish.
wooden box. He starts freaking out. He's just sitting there looking at me, trying to give me the pull, asking, "What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?" I'm like, "I don't know. Go over there and just grab this sucker and pull it out.
Yeah.
Just give it back to the guy. Whatever." So we did a good job that day, and we caught, I don't know, 20, 30 of them.
Okay.
So I texted him this
I take
morning.
it's unlimited per person or whatever,
Yeah, there's no
like
limit.
invasive species type thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, they're not invasive, but there's so many of them.
Gotcha.
They have these huge nets you can rent like by the hour, by the
Okay.
15 minutes.
Okay.
Scoop them in. I did that with my dad when I was younger too. But going back to the first story, which I kind of lost place where I was going with it, but
Your cousin cast it into the
yeah,
box.
he's not a family member, but close friend and family.
Okay.
Caught it, we threw it back, did a great job. But I texted him this morning because I saw the Facebook post. And I was like, "Hey man, we're going round 2." He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna
Suckerfest
annihilate. I'm
2023.
gonna make sure there's no more Suckerfest
Okay.
ever again after I get through there. Just to catch all of them."
That's awesome. I think some people might be okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, we've tried smoking them, marinating them.
Yeah.
Something you can pick at during Easter, but
Dude, I've never even had catfish in my life.
dude, that's my jam.
So I know it's supposed to be good, and I see it on the menu all the time. But usually, if it's a freshwater fish, I'm going for perch or like a walleye, and maybe a trout. I'm not a huge trout guy.
Buddy of mine, we went walleye fishing, and we caught 9, 10 walleye, and we got a hold of this one big catfish. He's like, "Yeah, just go ahead, reel it in." We was trolling behind his boat, reeled in and got this big old catfish, and he's like, "Oh, gross! I'm gonna throw this thing back." And I goes, "Nah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat that." And he goes, "That is not going in my live well." Well, I made him put it in his live well.
Okay.
So you can have all the walleye. I'll keep that catfish.
Wow, that's how much you like it, huh?
I love it.
I mean, I've seen some shows where people are, blue catfish-ing.
Yeah.
That's how you say it. And apparently you just got to cut the belly fat off or the fat off, and that's what makes catfish gross. Right?
I just skin it. Just
Yeah.
pull the skin off.
Mm.
Flay it up.
Yeah, no, it always looks good. I would say like the breading on a catfish always looks pretty tasty.
Whenever we want to do like a big fish fry,
Mm.
you don't want to hand out a bunch of walleye and perch to everybody. So we'll go out and catch,
Yeah.
12
I get what you're saying now.
big catfish.
You yield a lot more on a catfish,
You do.
and it serves the population,
Yeah.
the peasants.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's good. I love it. A little hot sauce.
Yeah, no,
Ex-
man, I would like to get into fishing again. And like I had mentioned this, I was talking to your father earlier, that I've always been unsuccessful, but I've always been like a bobber and a worm type of guy,
Okay.
and I've caught bass. Bass are fun.
Everybody catches bass.
Yeah, well,
God
yeah.
made bass for everyone to catch
Yeah,
fish.
big bass, ones that jump out of the water, so it makes you feel like an angler.
And there's walleye and
Angler.
other fish.
Yeah, no,
For
absolutely.
real men.
And I was thinking about getting a john boat and trying that out this year.
I shit on every bass fisher I talk to.
Well, people actually just target bass.
Yeah.
That's how little I know about fishing.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
a game fish. They catch them. They do
I mean, they're
tournaments.
fun. Yeah. I mean, usually, whether it's hunting or fishing, I like to go after something I know I'm going to like the taste of it. And I'm sure bass tastes like lake water. Right?
I mean,
You've had it?
I've eaten bass.
People eat bass?
Some people.
So I've learned people eat raccoons, bass, and what was the other thing today?
No.
I can't remember. Oh, good.
Suckers.
Yeah.
Suckers.
All the same people.
All the
right?
same people eat. I mean, I'll try sucker. I haven't. I don't know about the raccoon stuff yet.
I lied. Actually, John Cannon and I caught a big bass one time, and I think we were up in Harrison. I don't know, it was like whatever trailer park that was. We caught a giant bass, and we're like, I'm going to cut this up. We're going to try it. And it was like really sweet looking white fish. Like after it was cooked, you're like, wow, this is going to look like it tastes good.
Would you fry it?
No, just cooked it over the open fire. No seasoning, I think. And it literally was like taking a big glass of lake water and drinking it. That's what it tasted like.
That's good.
Worth it.
Gross.
Rest in peace.
To the
Big
bass?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Too bad it wasn't tasty. I wanted it to taste good, but it didn't.
You should just throw it in the fryer.
We didn't have a fryer. We're not like you. We don't carry a fryer in our backseat of our truck.
I have an electric fryer in the backseat of the truck.
Perfect. Lucky. That's a great idea.
You don't know why anyone doesn't. You don't. That's a surprise to me that nobody.
How do you
else
keep it
has
from
that.
spilling? That's the real surprise.
Well, you don't keep the oil in it.
Ah, okay. I thought it was always ready to go.
You put the oil in another container.
Anyways.
Well, this year anyway, sucker fishing's coming up.
Yeah.
And then right after that, you go right into steelhead fishing.
Okay.
Have you been steelhead fishing before?
I haven't, but you've invited me, and I kind of regret that I have not gone. But from my understanding, you're just supposedly trying to catch them close to the mouth, right?
Well, you have to catch them by the mouth. Or
Well-
the river or the actual
both.
physical part of
Yeah.
the fish.
I mean, but they're not even eating, right? So they're not even hungry. They're spawning.
They're attacking whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
okay.
they're going to eat it. They eat it too.
Yeah, I thought I heard like you have to like try to catch it close to like
Yeah, a foul
yeah,
catch.
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm.
First time I ever went out, my cousin Casey and Corey took me out, and my cousin Casey, he's so annoying when it comes to some of this stuff. I was casting at these because you can see the fish.
Okay.
Dude, 10 feet away. You
Okay.
can see them. You're fly fishing for them.
I mean, they're pretty docile, right?
Yeah, they're just sitting there,
Yeah.
sitting there spawning. I'm throwing, oh my gosh, dude, hundreds of line at this stupid fish. Cousin Casey comes over. He's like, "I'm gonna catch that for you real quick." One cast, boom, hits it. And I goes, "Just keep away from me. I don't want you
What's
to
the
come."
secret?
I don't know. He's the luckiest
Okay.
hunter, fisherman. I mean, he does put a lot of time into it and everything too, but he is super lucky when it comes to that. It's fun time. We go up there, catch them. So I was sitting there, going, "Man, these fish they're just sitting here." I was like, "You know what? I have an awesome idea." So he's sitting there looking at the bank. I'm cutting my line. So I'm gonna grab some weights, some treble hooks. I was like, "This is
Okay.
gonna be super
So-
easy."
Allegedly legal, right?
Very illegal.
Okay.
Illegal.
Okay.
I didn't know this at the time. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm just gonna snag these sons of bitches. That's
Mm.
all I'm gonna do." And he stopped me and said, "No, you can't do that." Blah, blah,
That's
blah.
good.
And I was
It's
like,
good
I
to
thought
have
I
that.
was a genius.
No, it's good to have that person around for sure.
Yeah, I thought I was a genius by
Mm.
just snagging them.
Mm.
But you can't do it.
Can't do it.
You have to catch it like an inch or two from their mouth.
So how pink are steelhead compared to like the salmon, let's say wild caught salmon you buy at the store?
Oh,
Or is it more like-
Alaskan salmon at the store?
Yeah.
That's super pink.
Yeah.
No, this is not. Looks
Okay.
like just a big chunk of fish.
Because if I understand right, is it the salmon is part of the trout family or the trout is part of the salmon family?
Now you're asking me questions that you're
Okay.
gonna confuse me.
All right.
They're all fish. They're part of the fish
Okay.
family.
Okay. Gotcha.
I can identify every fish that there is. Any fish there is, I can identify that it's a
Well,
fish.
that's a fish.
It's a fish.
I get what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the difference between a whale and a fish.
So if I'm gonna get a John boat and I want to target perch,
Okay.
like what kind of rig do I need? Is there like a perch rig? It's
can
like
get
the
a
double
perching
hook,
rig,
right? Yeah, with a couple minnows. Is that what I
Perching
should
rig.
do?
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's a lot of those little boats for sale. I'm thinking about it.
I mean, yeah.
Unless you got a boat.
I don't have a boat.
Mm.
But you can catch perch during ice fishing.
I know, but there's the whole like cold aspect of that. Because I think you took me ice fishing once, right? It was like I remember being in like someone's cabin, overlooking down at a lake. We had a bunch of tip ups out.
Yeah,
And we
Little
were-
Long Lake.
The only thing we caught was pike.
Little Long Lake.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds right. And I guess that was fun, but we kind of just sat inside and watched the tip ups to see when they tipped up. And went after 'em.
Well, yeah, it's tip up fishing. That's
And then I remember like just sitting on a bucket, freezing my ass off.
first general rule of ice fishing is bring beer.
Yeah.
This year has been different. This year I got into ice fishing pretty heavily,
Okay.
as you can probably see from some other videos that I posted this year.
How successful were you? You do pretty well.
You know, yeah, we fished some pretty hard lakes, and getting into that, that Panoptics that I bought this year, I would say, put me on the fish every single time.
And that's sonar. Is that what
Yeah.
Panoptics is? Okay.
That thing, it's cheating
Yeah.
for ice fishing.
But it's also like necessary though, right?
You can't, yeah, sure.
But people always told me like you don't need sonar because you can literally see pretty deep once you're in the shanty. Right?
No, I mean,
No.
depends on how clear the lake is.
Yeah.
But we fished St. Helen this year, fished a couple private lakes. We didn't get out to Houghton Lake, nothing around here. And then we got out to, there's two other lakes I can't quite remember the names of. But you basically put this thing in the water, you shoot it out, 80 feet,
Okay.
you can say, hey, there's a school of fish that's 30 feet this way. Go over there
Mm.
and start hammering them.
Well, I never understood the concept of sonar. I remember watching you use it one time.
So you're
and
probably
it just kind of like,
so that's a flasher.
okay,
So this is basically a legit live,
camera.
almost like a camera, but it's a sonar.
Okay.
So you can see all the fish
Oh, wow.
on the stuff. I got footage of it.
Oh, so it's like, I gotcha. So you can actually see the shape of the fish, like
Yep.
real life.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
You see a whole school of them, a
Wow.
whole herd of fish over here.
Nice.
You know,
Is that what they call them,
whole
as a
flock
herd?
over here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Always wondered that.
yeah,
It's
flock
like
of fish.
Mooses, mises, right? What are they
Mooses,
called?
mouses, mices,
Yeah, I don't know.
oxen.
It's probably a technical
So-
term.
Yeah, it's super nice. It put me on the fish faster. It lets you know exactly. It takes the guessing game out of it. Like, hey, is it my lure that's a problem, or there's no fish here?
I think I'd need that with ice fishing just because of the elements. Like I can handle cold, don't get me wrong, and I know the shanty's there, but I don't know how long I want to like be out there drilling holes. Like I want to like maybe one or two before I don't know. That's just my thought on it.
Oh, I took you out one time before, and we used a handheld auger.
We did.
Yeah,
And
so that's a different.
you
way.
and your cousins just wanted to piss in the ice hole the whole time I was there. So my favorite part was the smell of ammonia the whole time we were fishing.
That was Houghton Lake.
Yeah, so you probably ruined my, I guess, ice fishing experience.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Now that I can
Yeah.
remember this time,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think we sat on a case of Bush Light.
Yeah, probably. And there was probably tip ups, and we were probably only catching pike. Like I said, if I'm going to catch something I can eat, I don't want to eat pike. I know you can, and people
I
say it's
cook-
good. Yeah.
I did a little blind test this year. I caught some pike up in St. Helen, caught a bunch of pike, and then we had some perch, and I fried them all. Did exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Put them out for the family. My
Mm.
dad, my mom, my stepdad, my kids, my wife. Everyone liked the pike over
Okay.
the perch.
I've never even like cut up a pike, but everyone says they're bony, right? Is that true?
Yeah, so there's a new
Okay.
technique that's probably, it's not new, but you're basically going to get, off a bigger pike, you can get 5 fillets off of it.
Okay.
So a lot of times everyone always went down, they cut, from the back gill to the spine like you do every other fish, right?
Yeah.
This way you're basically taking off, what is that? What else right there?
Mm.
Well, there's a weasel.
Yep.
That's the ermine.
Yeah, very little weasel.
Yeah, there it is.
Should we get a Gypsy
You
the
see
Boston
it?
Terrier out to take care of this, or what? It's under this metal thing.
Yeah. It's an actual ermine, not a weasel.
You know, if I'm gonna be living back in Michigan, I think I want to invest in a bow, and like crossbow kind of crossed my mind. You know, like if I'm gonna spend $1,000, it'd be nice to be able to sit down comfortably and shoot a deer. You know.
You can spend more than $1,000 on those things.
Well, I mean,
too.
I want the one with the crank, right? I don't know a ton about it, but it's I think crossbows have always gotten shit on over the years, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're not
Yeah.
an actual bow hunter if you're using a crossbow.
But I've used, the compound for years, and it's great, but there's a ton of disadvantages when there's opportunity with the compound versus a crossbow. There's been times where I've tried to, all right, I got to, because of the stand that I'm using, I got to figure out how to get up, okay, because, a tree's blocking my arm or
Yeah.
whatever. And if I would have just had a crossbow, I could have used a rail.
and then you'd say that you don't
Also,
hold anyways.
I could have slept on the
Yeah.
rail,
So it's kind of hard when
I
you're
mean-
like all bundled up like this to grab a bow and try to pull it back,
Well,
right?
it's usually the first week of October. It's not that cold, right? You're fighting mosquitoes over the cold during that time. But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're nice. They're sweet. I mean, I've
But-
shot many deer with my crossbow.
Am I going to have FOMO, though, shooting a crossbow? Like, the example I give you is full size over a mid-size truck. Like, I've always wanted a mid-size truck. They're great for the trails or whatever, the affordability. But I'm probably going to wish I had a full size the moment I get a mid-size.
Which one's the mid-size in this comparison?
Feels like the crossbow would be the mid-size.
Okay,
Yeah. But
They're
it packs
nice.
more punch than the compound.
right.
Yeah, so maybe it's the opposite. I don't know.
They're nice.
That's how I think about it, though.
So nowadays, they, the sights on those things, there's I think it's called like the Burris Oracle. something
Oh,
like
it's got
that.
the wind and rangefinder.
Well,
on it.
it's a rangefinder. You just tap onto it and it changes, automatically changes
See,
everything.
and all that's legal in Michigan, huh?
100%.
You can have I can't think of the scope, the name of the scope, but out in Colorado you can't have illuminated sights.
Okay.
You can't even use Luminox on your bow. Also, when you're muzzleloading hunting, you can't use a scope. It's got to be open sites.
Okay.
So there's a lot more strict laws out there compared to Michigan.
Yeah, I think I'm not 100% sure, but Michigan's having a huge decline in hunters coming, so maybe they're opening some things up, maybe to
I mean,
entice.
that's probably a whole nother topic, right? So it's like it is kind of a dying sport to a degree. I mean, it's had a recent, influx because of like Netflix and Meat Eater and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, Michigan itself, most people are that brown and down mentality, and so you're not getting that huge game is what you used to have.
I mean, I don't know what it's like down here. Not to disagree. I know chronic wasting disease is a thing, kind of almost everywhere. But since they've instituted, the 3 points on one side and no bait pile, dude, there's a ton of deer in Michigan now compared to when we were growing up as kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of the last time I saw a spike. Okay. I can't tell you the last time I've gone a day where I'm at up in northern Michigan without seeing a deer.
No, there's a lot of deer, but there's just not as much trophy deer. I think I don't know exactly the number, but like only 3% of hunters shoot 3.5-year-old buck.
Well, it's probably genetics
year.
here. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's
But I think they're here. It's just the fact that people are just seeing the first buck and they're shooting it.
Yeah. I mean, I've leased private property in southeast Michigan where it's claimed to be like the hot spot,
Right.
of whitetails. All the farmland and everything, and no one was shooting over a 140 class down there. And that was a giant.
140s. Yeah. I mean, I like 140s.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I guess if you're chasing antlers, you should probably just get into elk hunting. Because that's a massive rack. I mean, you got to have a 10-foot ceiling to put that on the wall.
Right. Yeah, so we'll be hanging out tonight,
All right.
having a little party, so stick around and, partake.
All right. Thanks.
You might
again.
have a couple lattes if you want.
Absolutely.
So, well, thanks everyone for watching. Make sure, share, subscribe, like, comment, do's and don'ts, whatever you like. And, throw some input your way. Talked about a couple things, bows, what you're looking into for this upcoming year. So let me know. And on the next podcast, we'll talk about it. So other than that, thanks everybody, and see you next time.